For quite some time now, Steven Universe fans have speculated that Jasper would be getting a redemption arc, similar to Peridot. Personally, I didn't think something like this would happen. I highly doubted that the show would go by way of Dragon Ball Z and turn a bunch of villains into heroes, but the more I think about it, it would actually make a lot of sense for Jasper to join the Crystal Gems in more ways than one. Before we get into any actual plot-related reasons for this, just from a writing standpoint, it works quite perfectly. One of the biggest themes of this show is having compassion and understanding, giving people another chance, seeing the potential for good in every living being, especially when it comes to Steven's character. Actually, almost exclusively Steven's character, but whatever. And while this show pushes these messages to a healthy degree and probably won't apply to someone as terrible as, say, Yellow Diamond, I think Jasper might just be deserving of another chance. Maybe. On top of that, the Crystal Gems are going to need all the help they can get, because things are inevitably going to get much, much worse as the series progresses. We've obviously seen a villain turn over a new leaf in Peridot. Steven, and to a lesser extent the rest of the Crystal Gems, were able to show Peridot the ways of the Earth and all the good it holds. Although they may not have realized it, Peridot was swayed to the good side through her use of logic, objectivity, curiosity, and genuine desire to understand Earth and the Crystal Gems. It was then that she was able to reach a bit more emotional clarity and level of comfort with her feelings. Jasper's a bit different for a number of reasons. Firstly, it seems to be strongly implied that Jasper is significantly older than Peridot. Jasper stated that she was actually on Earth to witness the war, while Peridot doesn't truly understand the full scope of what went down all those years ago. For her, those stories are no different than picking up a history book. She even mentions in Gem Drill that she doesn't have any real feelings about where she came from. Also, Peridot seems to be practically reliant on recent gem technology, most notably her limb enhancers. Quite some time has passed since she's been walking around with her real legs, and yet, as we see in the second most recent episode, Hit the Diamond, she's still having a hard time adjusting, having to still resort to running like a dog after falling on her face twice. So how is this relevant? Well, since Peridot seems to be much younger than Jasper, it was a lot easier to get her to come around to Earth and see the errors of Homeworld for what they really are. Jasper, on the other hand, won't be so easily swayed, as she was on Earth fighting for Homeworld thousands of years ago and continues to serve Homeworld to this day. Now, if their age difference wasn't enough, certainly their personalities are. Peridot has always kind of played the evasive, pacifistic, fighting because she's scared, not because she's violent type of villain, avoiding confrontation at all costs, showing that she wasn't truly bad or mean to her core, just born into a bad environment and thrown into some less than ideal situations. But what we know about Jasper paints a totally different picture. Jasper appears to always be ready for a fight, and while she doesn't strike me as a mindless brute, I don't think she's the type to be reasoned with logic or understanding of a different perspective. So what is she most swayed by? What seems to be her utmost driving force? Jasper has a great respect for power. She even claimed to have respect for Rose Quartz during the war, and we've seen that through Malachite. She can indeed change her stance on an opinion, if proven otherwise through sheer strength. When Jasper first fought Garnet on the ship, her opinion on fusion was that it was a cheap tactic to make weak gems stronger. She had absolutely no respect for it, but after being trapped with Lapis as Malachite, she gained a new perspective. She saw fusion as a great way to obtain even more power. So how exactly will all this go down? Well, we, along with plenty of others, have speculated that Jasper's gem is cracked, since we did not see her face at any point after the battle in Super Watermelon Island. And yet we see Lapis's face just fine. There's undoubtedly a reason for this. If Jasper's gem is cracked, who better to heal her than Steven, right? Then everything's fine and everyone's friends, right? Not so simple. For starters, Jasper is somewhere underground. And what else is underground? Gem mutants. With Jasper's new taste for fusion, I think it's plausible that Jasper will try to fuse, or potentially actually fuse, with one or more of these gem mutants and escape. Now, what could possibly give Jasper the impression that Earth is strong and that humans are worth saving? Maybe getting beat by a human. Well, Steven has great powers, but he's not that much of a fighter, but we know a human who is. Onion. Sorry, Connie. That's right, of course not by herself, but with the help of Steven. They've proven on more than one occasion that their combined strength can pose a big threat, even for the gem mutants. I predict with Steven's powers, Connie's skills, and the combination of Rose's sword and shield, they'll be able to take out the Jasper mutant fusion thing. This leaves an important question. Why would Steven and Connie be fighting by themselves? Shouldn't the gems be helping them? Well, what if they weren't with the original trio? Steven and Connie hang out a lot. It's not crazy to think that they might go somewhere else when this crazed fusion shows up, and that's how they find it/her. It's even possible that they take a little trip to the barn. Peridot certainly can't fight, and while Lapis is really powerful, assuming they drain the quote-unquote pool or evaporated, without water, she's practically useless as far as we know, leaving the fighting up to Steven and Connie. It's from here that the gem monster and Jasper split up. They take out the gem monster, or monsters, and Steven goes to heal Jasper upon noticing her gem is cracked. But then that's when the rubies return from Neptune, seeing Jasper isn't actually there. It would make sense that they would return to the barn to question the gems, since that's where they found them in the first place. first place I would go. It's here where the next reason for Jasper's redemption comes into play. She doesn't really have much of a choice. Yellow Diamond was furious about the Earth mission, claiming it was a failure every step of the way. Well, Jasper was the leader of the Earth mission. I doubt the rubies were sent there to congratulate her on a job well done. They were most likely there to take her back to Homeworld, maybe as a prisoner. She's practically a wanted woman. Sure, she might be able to take on a 5 ruby fusion, but if she's weakened from a cracked gem, they could easily mount the floor with her, I think. Stephen and Connie will most likely have to go and defeat the rubies at this point. More on the rubies at a later date. Jasper is taken back that she was not only defeated by humans, well, 1.5 humans, but they were actually the ones to save her. She then realizes she has nowhere to go, and she may even begin to see herself as weak. I don't really know what would happen at this exact moment, but I think given the string of events, eventually, Jasper will come around, accept Stephen's help to heal her, and join the Crystal Gems. Obviously, this is just one scenario cooked up in my head. There are a million possible ways this could all happen, but I think generally speaking, this is how things will play out. Who knows? Maybe Jasper doesn't end up fusing with a gem monster. Maybe somebody else takes out the rubies in a different way entirely. But what I do think will happen is Jasper will be shown the true potential of humans through Stephen and Connie in some way, shape, or form, and the rubies following the orders of Yellow Diamond for her to be punished will ultimately lead to her decision to join the Crystal Gems. But what do you guys think? Do you think something like this will happen to Jasper? Do you even think she'll be redeemed at all? Let us know in the comments down below. We'd also like to take the time to thank our patrons. It really means a lot to us. If you'd like to contribute to our Patreon, click the link we're gonna put up now-ish. Now-ish. Sometime now. Is it up? Okay, great. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.